Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Ross Johnston. Week 11 in the NFL wrapped up last night with the Dallas Cowboys defeating the Las Vegas Raiders 33-16. Dak Prescott threw 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers, and George Pickens racked up 166 yards on the night. Vols basketball beat Rice as well last night, 91-66. Senior center Felix Okpara led the way with 20 points and 8 boards, while freshman wing Nate Ament notched a double-double with 19 points and 10 boards, and transfer guard Jacoby Gillespie had 17 points to go along with 8 assists. In NFL news, Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud is back at practice today as he has been dealing with a concussion. Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers underwent tests to confirm a slight fracture in his left wrist and is not expected to practice Wednesday, but is trying to play this Sunday versus the Bears. All of this reported by Adam Schefter. For your foundation repair, waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once in your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all 4 Seasons Garage Stores. 615-737-1045 is the number. What do you expect from Cam Ward the rest of the way? We'll tell you what we think, but we want to hear from you. 615-737-1045. The coordinator spoke today, so we'll talk about J.C. Latham as well. But we got to start out with this little bit of news, and I'm just very surprised it's kind of came down to this just a little bit, is that Ole Miss has given Lane Kiffin the deadline of the Egg Bowl to decide whether or not he's coming back. They're not even waiting for bowl games, college football playoffs, or anything like that. They're saying you have to let us know before the Egg Bowl. And that is on November 28th against Mississippi State, for those who may not know. And, of course, Ole Miss is 10-1. And apparently his family is traveling down to LSU and traveling down to Florida, or I guess travel down to Baton Rouge on Monday. They already did Gainesville. So yesterday was Baton Rouge. They've already done Gainesville. Lane was not on either trip, but the family has gone ahead. And they've asked for the Ole Miss athletic director, Keith Carter, no relation to the former offensive line coach that was here. But it feels kind of wild to give Lane Kiffin, of all people, an ultimatum, because I don't feel like he's one of those guys that is going to respond the way that you think when he's backed up into a corner, because, he's got big personality. So I heard this yesterday, reading it right now. What are your thoughts on giving someone an ultimatum by the final regular season game? Not even college football playoffs, if they make it in. Not even a bowl game. They're saying before the Egg Bowl, we have to know.
What do you think?
I think it's insane.
Okay.
Because of the person.
No. Well, yeah, that does matter.
Yeah.
But I think they tried to be in the middle because you don't want to be having your hands tied here, by the way. We go to a bowl game. All of a sudden now we miss out on candidates, and all of a sudden you decide to leave. So we need to get it done. So that tells me that they've offered him something
that they feel is pretty good.
Pretty good. Right. So you got to look at it from their shoes. Now, granted, Lane Kiffin is not a guy you want to say, hey, do this. Well, they didn't say, by the end of the season or, tomorrow.
Yeah.
So the Egg Bowl is, I guess, the
November
last game.
28th. Yeah, last
game of the season, regular season. So I think, you try to parse it in the middle, and I think that's what they try to do. If I'm the athletic director, I probably would have played it down the middle. I wouldn't have publicly put that out there, though.
Yeah.
That's
or
what
whoever did put it out there.
Right.
Maybe that was Kiffin putting it out. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe.
Who does that benefit, you think? Kiffin or the school?
I feel like it would benefit Kiffin. I don't know why. But, I don't know. But that's a hard question, but you don't want to have your university with their hands tied, even with an elite. If he really wants to be here, you said ultimatum. See, I think that's the wrong verbiage.
Okay.
I think they gave him a deadline.
Ooh, okay.
Deadline. See, ultimatum means we forcing. That means like by the end of this week. Then I think now we're talking ultimatum. But I think this is a deadline. It's all
because
fair
they've given
for
him
everybody.
so much time.
Yep.
Because there is a lot of time to make your decision.
All fair for everybody involved. That way you can go where you're going, and if that's the case, and then we can now hire our best candidate.
Yeah.
That's why they use the end of this regular season, because then even maybe a couple other openings may happen as well. We don't know. So that way they maybe have more options. I don't know. So, I mean, would they have been open to, James Franklin? See? Ole Miss?
Yeah.
Would they, I know he took the job.
Right.
But, I mean,
I get what you're saying.
That's what you're going to miss out.
You missed out on James Franklin.
Right. You're missing out on people, and you don't, as the university, you got to sit there and say, hey, man, we don't want to back him into a corner, but we have to give him a deadline, because if not, we are screwed.
Yeah. That's an interesting way to look at it. And I the logic in me feels like, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if I'm the athletic director in the school, you don't want him to up and leave after the like a week before a bowl game or college football playoffs, because you never know. I mean, this is a guy that's left for jobs at peculiar times before.
Right. Other schools may demand that you come now.
Yeah.
We got to start the recruiting. We got to,
Yeah, we got to get your name out there. You got to do the publicity. You got to do this and that. And I guess it's much better to do it for the Egg Bowl to get ready for the bowl game, because you have several weeks to get ready for the bowl game if you're a coach and players and all that stuff, or college football playoffs, whichever one he may end up in. But, I mean, it is Lane Kiffin, though, and I feel like that's where I struggle. Like, the logic tells me what you're saying is probably the best way to go about it. But then I'm like, but Lane Kiffin is like a one-of-a-kind kind of character.
You gave him, I know he's a character, but you gave him time.
Plenty of time.
Yep, you gave him time. So I think it's fair. I would have made sure that information would have got out.
Yeah, because LSU, Gainesville, trips are already done.
Yeah.
So, or theoretically,
so
family, but not him. But I'm assuming he's sending the family on these trips because maybe he wants to make sure that they feel comfortable. I don't know. Yeah, maybe he's using them as a way for, hey, I'm sending my family over there. You better give me some more money.
Mm-hmm. Or whatever he's asking for.
Right.
I think it's something to do with the stadium and with the atmosphere there. That he keeps bringing up something about the stadium. I don't know what that is. Atmosphere. Maybe it's not enough people showing up. I don't know what it is. Game day experience. But, Lane Kiffin's a special coach, and he should be paid top 5 probably coaching NCAA football. So, yeah. And I think they got the money. I think Lane has to make a decision, and I think they said we got to give him a fair deadline. If not, hey, the run was great. If not, we love you back. I mean, that's kind of, to me, what it is.
Yeah.
With the deadline, not an ultimatum.
And to
I
be
know
fair,
a lot of people, I know even the morning show kind of said you don't want to be playing around with Lane Kiffin, but at some point you have to say what's fair for both sides, and for the university first. When you're athletic director, you have to give them a deadline. If not, you're screwed. They've seen that story before, time and time again, with other big-time, coaches, and you can't let it just keep running, and then they don't give you a decision, then they bolt. Now you're screwed.
Yeah. Now, this does say the person briefed on the discussions did not say what would technically happen if Kiffin remains uncommitted prior to the Egg Bowl. So he's got a deadline, but we don't know what the repercussions of not meeting that deadline are. May not be anything. They may just push the deadline back. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So to your point, ultimatum is probably too strong a word. But okay, so let's say that he does leave for one of those other jobs. He's obviously not sending his family to Nashville. Just want to throw that out there because I know we had rumors on Friday about, people were inquiring, or there was a modicum of interest about Tennessee Titans and Lane Kiffin. But let's say he leaves. Where do you put the Ole Miss job as it sits without Lane Kiffin? Because Lane Kiffin's kind of put it into a kind of a contender and all that stuff. Is Ole Miss a more high-profile job now than it was when Lane Kiffin got it?
Oh, he definitely did that. Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, you would know better than me. All the SEC schools to me are
high-profile,
right, in my mind. So when you got a guy that's been covering, but he has definitely made him a threat. Is this the first time they've only lost one game, Ross? Maybe
in a while. They might have done it once in the Hugh Freeze days.
I don't know. They've been in the hunt, and they just come up short a little bit here under Lane. So that's another thing to me that's playing. If I'm Lane, I could be statue in front of the university, the stadium, type deal, especially if you take them to the Final Four as far as teams in the playoffs. There's some history here. He could set tone here and really do some big things and be remembered as, this elite coach of all time and ever in Ole Miss history. So, you just wonder if some coaches care about that, or do they just care about the Benjamins?
Never know.
So I think he's a guy now where he's at today, not the 25-year-old or the guy that was the age when he left Tennessee for his dream job. I think he's kind of sitting back and he's probably conflicted. Yeah, no different than the baseball coach for Tennessee. I think that's where these guys are, and that's kind of where he's sitting, and he's like, dang. So is there going to be another opportunity if he won a national championship or went to a championship in the next 2 years at Ole Miss? Could he still get one of those jobs? Because if they hire the wrong guy, guess what? That job probably be open in 2 or 3 more years.
Yeah, that's true.
If they miss. See, so you kind of weigh the options there, and I think it's a tough call. Man, I would be super conflicted. And where Ole Miss ranks, man, you got to, in the SEC, they're, top 10?
Yeah.
And then that's really top 10.
And pretty much top 10 in the country, outside of a few.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would be interesting because I know he's been tied to almost every job opening
I know his name.
around.
Yeah. That's what happens when you know he's good.
Yeah.
He's a good coach.
I got 2 thoughts about it. One is if you guys have kind of just been saying here the last couple minutes, I don't know how you leave. It's one of those, is the grass necessarily greener at LSU or Florida just because they're bigger jobs?
Love that.
But what you've built here, you've got something really good going on. My other thing was, say he does leave, I think the top candidate should be pretty easy for Ole Miss, in my opinion. I think that's John Sumrall at Tulane. He was at Troy from 22 to 23,
he's a good coach too.
And only lost 4 games there. And at Tulane the last 2 years, he's been 17-7. It's kind of the same recruiting area-ish, like that southern area along the Gulf. Louisiana, Mississippi, Bama, all that. I think that could be a good hire. But again, can you really just leave if you're Kiffin? I know it's LSU and it's Florida, but you got something really good going on.
Yeah, I like that call with Summerall. So that's what he's also trying to prepare for the new guy coming in.
Yep.
If you do leave, so yeah, and these ADs have guys in their back pocket, they know who they can get. Typically got 2 or 3 guys on the list that they think they can get. So you hoping it's him, but if not, hey, we got to move on. This is business.
All right, let's go to Tommy in Nashville. Tommy, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Thanks. I think the athletic director is making a smart move because it's all about recruiting, man. If you let Kiffin stay throughout the season and then the
Playoffs.
Then you hire John Summerall from SMU, then the recruiting's gone.
Tulane.
So I think it's all about the recruiting. Back before the NIL, going to Florida or LSU would be a no-brainer because the talent in Florida is unbelievable as well as in Louisiana. But now, due to NIL, you can get those players to come to Ole Miss. So I don't know why you would want to leave when if you go there, you've got to win or you're going to get fired, and you could stay at Ole Miss and still win and not get fired. I'll hang up and listen. Thanks.
No problem. That's some good points too.
Yeah. That's. If I'm sitting in his shoes, I probably would be playing it just like him. I'll sit my family just in case.
Yeah.
I make this decision. I'm not knowing if he's going to do that, but I think I would stay at Ole Miss, to be honest. I know now you're talking about the big programs, and it's easy to recruit, but man.
To me, it's like your legacy. You're building your own legacy. You're not really getting compared to any other Ole Miss head coach.
Yeah.
You'd be getting compared to the LSU head coaches of all time. You'd be getting compared to the Florida head coaches of all time, like the Urban Meyers, Steve Spurriers, guys like that. And I feel like what you got right now is that you're building your own legacy. But to your point, sometimes it's not about legacy. Sometimes it's about money.
Yeah.
And we don't know which one Lane is. Then maybe this will tell us a little bit more. Let's go to Gene real quick. Gene, you're on Blaine and Zach.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, I'm pretty sure he was on, Lane Kiffin was on Pat McAfee this morning and denied that he was given an ultimatum. So I don't know if y'all can look that up or not, but I'm pretty sure that
ultimatum and a deadline is somewhat the same thing, correct?
I don't know. Yeah, you might want to look it up and see exactly.
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. He could term it that way, but if someone said we got a deadline and we need to know it, then on your end you may say, "Oh, well, that was an ultimatum."
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I also know his son plays football there. He's on a high school football team, and he seems to be happy with it.
I think his daughter goes to the university.
I don't know if that's going to – he's in high school.
No, I said the daughter goes to the University of Ole Miss.
Yeah. So, I don't know if that'll play in to everything or not. I'm sure, money probably is the biggest factor, I would think. But, you don't know. He should have plenty of money by now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got you, Gene.
But, I had heard that, he had denied that he was given a timeline. So, I don't know if y'all want to look that up on I think it was on Pat McAfee this morning.
Yeah.
All right. You got what he said on there?
I don't have the audio clip of it, but I have he said, yes, that's absolutely not true when asked about the ultimatum by McAfee.
There you go. All right. Coming up next, we'll talk some Tennessee Titans here as well. Talk about Cam Ward, J.C. Latham, and the bunch. And we'll also have Coach Mack at 2:20, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, South's most trusted Ford dealer. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Who are you?
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. We're broadcasting live from the 1045 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. And we want to hear from you. What do you realistically expect from Cam Ward the rest of the way? Because I get to this point, Blaine, and I've heard Bill Belichick talk about it, I've heard you talk about it, I've heard Coach Mack talk about it, I've heard all these people that have experienced life in the NFL talk about, well, I've only been able to talk about it because you guys have told me and informed me, so I'm using you guys as an example, is that pretty much by week 10, you are what you are. And it is we're going into week 11, and I don't want to, rain on anybody's parade that may place bets on the Tennessee Titans, but they're once again facing a top 10 defense again, another time this week.
Boo-hoo-hoo.
Right. But again, it's like we are who we are right now, and it's not going to get better because injuries are starting to pile up. Nobody's completely healthy. The schedule doesn't really let up the rest of the way. I mean, the worst defense you really see is going to be the Saints and the 49ers in terms of passing defense. So it's not going to let up. Injuries are probably just going to continue to mount in some form or fashion. A lot of guys can still play through injuries, but like I said, you're not completely healthy. I mean, at what point is it kind of like hands up in the air and you just look at Cam Ward and just hope, just show us some growth the rest of the way? And I don't know how to really put into words what growth actually looks like in terms of what's tangible for fans to see. But I'm a little scared. My powder is not dry, so to speak, that I think we've seen the best of Cam Ward this season. I don't know what we're really going to see this season and get out of Cam Ward this season that we haven't already seen.
Ooh, that's a really broad question at this point in time. I do love the beginning statement. After 10, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Man. You are pretty much who you are now. And that doesn't mean you will be that person next season.
Right.
But as of right now, especially with the weapons down, Ross, I mean, some of the guys injured at receiver.
Ross will have to be called up here shortly.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see if who they call up. Do they bring somebody in from the outside? Prochet, Restrepo, whoever it may be, they're going to step up and you may end up, finding a player. But I think what we found out is, as much as I kept saying I wanted to see a controlled gunslinger, he is a gunslinger and he gets impatient and he wants to hit the home run. So it's about, in the league, maybe that's not a good analogy. Do you like Derek Jeter or do you like A-Rod? And he wants to be A-Rod. He wants to hit the home run, and then he's always looking for the home run shot. I mean, you can just see it clear as day. And they tried to design plays. They're quick hitters, and they talk about, they had quick hitting plays in the beginning of the game because they actually forced him as an offense to do that. Wasn't on his own design. He didn't want to do that. Every opportunity he got, he wanted to throw downfield. At least he wanted to. Whether he did or didn't is another story. So I think he has to learn. I kept saying this in the beginning of the season. He's going to have to fight against himself. And that was going to be his biggest detriment because he's an ultimate competitor and he thinks he can do it on his own. And that is actually playing out exactly like that. I think he has to learn to take what the defense gives you most of the time and then hit those home run shots when they give them to you. And that's called patience. And it's okay to dink and dunk and dink and dunk. Tom Brady made a living until he forced you to come up, and then he knew when to hit the shots.
People would always make fun of him for it, but he's one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game.
So a lot of people say he's the GOAT. So I don't know if that's true or not. But, it's just it's a learning process. I don't like the fumbling, and I don't like certain throws that he can't make that every NFL quarterback, I said it, yesterday about Davis Mills making a drop in a bucket of passes. He doesn't make those routinely. Every NFL quarterback that's a star in this league and some backups have to make that throw. And so those are the things I want to see him just master. It seems boring, but he has to master those throws.
Master the mundane of being a quarterback. Because, I mean, really, the quarterback position is about, 80%, 85% boring throws?
Right. And then, mental.
Yeah.
And then you're not going to be a perfect player. And I think he understands that. I don't think he has clutch genes, so you can like that part of it. He's learning when to run. We saw him finally, run when given.
Yeah.
I like that. He slid. He knows how to slide.
Yeah. That's good.
I mean, I'm saying this because it sounds crazy, but, Will Levis wasn't a slider.
Josh Allen, not a slider.
Like a lot of guys
Jackson Dart.
Right. They just don't, so there's parts of his game you like a lot. And you see the potential, so just got to continue to build on that. And but he is who he is now, especially now with under Mantle.
He is who he is as a rookie.
Yeah, as a rookie.
And I think we got to make sure that we just realize that. And I think that's the whole point of this, because I know. Listen, I get it. I'm in media. Every conversation is going to start with the quarterback, but we have gotten so decisive, like. Cam Ward's a bust, and Cam Ward is 100% a bust. Cam Ward is definitely the franchise guy, when really we just don't know. This is not a good situation to really figure out what he is. Now, we'll say this. What you can tell from a bad situation is he's got the mental makeup.
Yes, he definitely has that.
He's got the emotional IQ, emotional intelligence that you're looking for out of a quarterback.
He's a true quarterback in mindset. I love all of that. It's just that, he that gunslinger mentality. When he said that, and I said, no, we want a controlled gunslinger. That meant he's going to try to hit the home run every time he gets, even if he has to force it. And that's the part that he's going to have to fight. He's going to have to fight the good fight. And I'm sure that's going to be a struggle, even with the coaching staff. Like, hey, you could have took this here. You could have took this there. So
it's probably a daily conversation that is like, it's like your wife asking you to take out the trash.
Yeah, and if you don't do it right or gather up the trash, it's Wednesday, right, or Tuesday.
Right.
So I think he's on the right track for sure. So everybody pump the brakes and it'll be all right. And I don't think a quarterback's going to be drafted in the first round by the Tennessee Titans. And I say think because nothing's for sure guaranteed. There's always a 1% chance. Just never know. But I would be stunned if that happened. What would be your evaluation of Cam, knowing that you that receiver and man, looking at a quarterback there, Ross?
Well, when I was thinking of like how he could show improvement the rest of the year, like, I don't think anyone should expect this 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks game. Part of that is on Cam Ward, but just the situation too. Mm-hmm. And I say that to say, I think a lot of fans get caught up in the stats as that shows whether it was a good performance or not.
Right.
And that's part of it for sure, but that's not the big thing. I just want to see him like continue to get better at mastering the operation, cadence at the line, getting them in and out of the huddle, getting players in the right spot if they're not there. Going through his reads properly, not just blocking his eyes on one guy, whether it be a deep guy check down, staying in the pocket, as long as it's viable to work on that footwork, just that basic stuff, because that stuff you can carry with you beyond your rookie year, that with a better situation will lead to better results. Now, if you just want to focus on a stat game, if someone wants to see him go out there and throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, like, would that be great? Sure, but like, what does that mean for the future?
Well, who's getting the 100 yards on this team?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's not realistic.
And those are all great. Do you think Cam Ward also look at the stats? Because he grew up in a generation where I got to get the stat. See, that goes back to I got to hit the home run. It goes back to, my fantasy numbers. I got to get my numbers up. And see, that's his thought process is that.
Yeah.
Not my generation. I think he's in that thought process. Yeah. And that's why I said he's going to have to fight against himself.
I do.
Because I want to see you win.
Yeah.
I don't care what your stats are.
I do wonder how much he is stat-driven, how much he's film-driven. Because sometimes you're like, well, he would have had the deep shot if he would just got the ball off a little bit earlier. Right. If you would have planted your feet correctly, there's this. You look at that, and I wonder then if he's like, well, okay, so I still got the deep shot open.
Right.
But that's to me, film
that's
study.
how he thinks.
Yeah,
I really do. And I'm not even there. I just feel like now that I've watched him this long, I feel like that's what he believes because he's always looking downfield and he'll lock in.
I think in the NFL, when you come from a college system, probably where there is a lot of open deep shots and all that kind of stuff, and you're scoring at a much higher rate in college than you are in the NFL generally, that it's hard to break that mentality to where it's like it's okay to take dink and dunks and efficiency and this and that because we got you. Like in college, it probably felt like I got to do everything a little bit for some of these college quarterbacks. And now it's like, no, we got you. We can all handle it. And maybe just because this is a little bit younger offense when it comes to wide receivers and all that, maybe they're struggling to find that. He's struggling to find that trust, but he's going to have to build that trust at some point and all that. And I think he did a good job in like the first and the third quarter, but the second quarter, you're kind of like, I don't know about that one. Fourth quarter kind of started out a little sloppy, but then it ended up with 11 play, 95-yard drive where they ended in a touchdown. But a lot of that had to do taking the stuff and then Chiggs going and running a deep route that he's never really ran before in practice and comes down with the ball.
Why was him and Jefferson in the same area? See,
I've gone all the way through that one, Blaine.
What?
I'd have to break it down.
Break it down.
Well, it's hard to do without it in front of me.
You gotta learn. We're on radio.
Just turned around and saw the ball coming. He just ran the other way. I mean,
part of it was timing of the play with the pressure in the pocket, and part of it was also like where Cam placed the football. It kind of led him upfield. I think just the timing got thrown off, so it made it look worse. Because when I saw it live, I was like, somebody busted a route.
Well, when I saw it in the air, I said, well, dang, I thought he was throwing to Jefferson initially when the ball let go of his hand. And so being there live, so then I was like, was that Chig or Jefferson who caught that? I didn't know.
I do think Cristoforo in the F&M Bank Chat, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live brings up a good point. Each hardship is contributing. Now, he says to the remarkable individual Cam is going to become, but I will just temper that down a little bit and say each hardship that he has faced this year is very unique for an incoming young rookie quarterback because he has faced by far the toughest defensive schedule through the first 10 starts than any rookie quarterback drafted 1.1 overall since Baker Mayfield. By far. I mean, and it is insane. His average rank of the defenses he faced is 7.9 so far. Joe Burrow was the next toughest, 12.6. That's a huge difference in ranks of past defenses you're facing. And it doesn't get any better against Seattle. But to his point, Cristoforo's point is that each hardship is going to hopefully make him better. Each hardship is a learning thing, and he seems like a guy that can take on those hardships, learn from them, and get better. But there's a difference between us projecting that he can do that and assuming he can do that and him actually doing it. Because the NFL is just a fickle world sometimes. I mean, all this good stuff that he has mentally may not translate to a good quarterback. We just can't predict that. But hopefully it does. I have faith that it does, but hope and faith is not a strategy.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's going to get a chance to now fix some of the things that he's weak at in the NFL. And we're talking about footwork to certain throws that he has to make and putting them in the right spot. I thought early on he was doing that a pretty decent job, at least on the outside. That's kind of waned. And then, Alec Manor, I'm going to just bring him up as an example. Haven't seen him catch the ball like he had in the past. He's kind of disappeared over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Not just this last game when he got injured. He was trying to fight through that injury.
It was a theme heading into the bye week.
Right, yeah.
You'd hope that, quote-unquote, rookie wall that he may have hit, you'd hope the bye week came at a perfect time and you would have seen something different, but you really didn't.
Yeah, so it made you start thinking, is he really a 2, 3, or maybe even a 4 on a real good team at receiver? Those are the things that kind of run through your mind, and especially the GM and all the scouts over there who are now trying to evaluate players and which helps them make their decisions on what's more of an emergency to get in the draft and free agency. So I think you're starting to see that maybe he's more so a 3.
He may be more so an NWI than a Corey Davis.
Right.
Now, I know NWI is an undrafted free agent. I don't want to go that far. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he may be that 4
NWI
or 5.
got drafted. He tore his ACL senior year.
But he's more of a rotational guy than he is a true number 2. Like, we don't know. I mean, we'll see. Much like Cam Ward, Chimere Dike, Gunnar Helm, Alec Manor, all these rookies now have a full offseason to work on their craft, not work on combine. To work on their craft, not to work on pro day. To work on their craft, not to work on workouts. Like, That is a totally different training regimen. You hear that all the time. That's why Marvin Harrison kind of skipped it, right? Because he's like, I don't want to worry about all that stuff. I just want to focus on football. And listen, I think that kind of offseason does matter for the people that they drafted. They drafted guys that seem, at least what we're told and what we have heard, have a really great work ethic who love football. Does that wear off as more losing continues? Or does that stay afloat and then they carry it over to the next season? I would say the latter, but you never know. You never know what continuous losing does to certain individuals. I think Cam Ward's going to be fine, but I'm talking about all the rookie class, all the young players.
Yeah, I would assume it would be bad. I don't like to say assume that all those guys are going to work on their craft just because of their mental makeup.
Yeah,
they're trying to get a style of a player and have this certain makeup. I think all those guys are going to come back and be somewhat a little better anyway. They're going to push their talents to the limit and see how good they can be. So I believe that, not starting with Cam Ward, but everybody. That's 'cause I think he's going to hold them accountable at some point by saying, hey, let's meet up, let's do such and such, and you'll see where they're at, whether their body changes or they're quicker, or they understand now how to run the routes, and now not, giving all the tea leaves to, helping DBs break on their brakes, before them. So dropping your arms and all kind of things. So we'll see. But right now, these guys are just good players, and that's not going to be good enough. You got to have a superstar, a proven guy who's consistent. I hate to say it, but that's what really was not. He was not consistent the entire time here. Unfortunately, got hurt. Always started off bad, didn't have connection with the quarterback and the timing, whether it was Will Levis, Cam Ward. So that means to me it's a you problem. That's you, not them. And he
had that in Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence,
absolutely. Too. So to me, they need these guys that's on the team currently that are young who are going to grow. They need a superstar type player or a really, really good receiver so they can be good players.
And you don't have to find those receivers in the first round. Ladd McConkey, second round, super, super consistent. And that's what you need, right? You need that consistency from some kind of wide receiver, whether that ceiling is a wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 1. You need consistency all across the board right now, because DK kind of was turning into a little bit of a consistent guy. Then he gets injured. Now, but Elikai Manor, inconsistent. Van Jefferson is probably better suited as a wide receiver 2, but he's having to fill, quote unquote, a wide receiver 1 role. And so when you have these mismatches and players out of position where they would be on other teams, it kind of leads to these issues that you're seeing. And they need to find probably 2 consistent wide receivers. Now, whether that's bringing back Van Jefferson and finding a 1 in the draft, I'm perfectly okay with that. You want to tell me you're starting with Jordan Tyson, for example, and Van Jefferson as your 2, and Chimere Dike as your 3, and Elikai Manor as your rotational piece? I'm all for that. If Elikai Manor pushes Van Jefferson out of that spot, all for that. We just got to find some consistency somewhere.
Yeah, and and I'm talking about certain throws. There were 2 or 3 throws. Jefferson beat Stingley, one of the better corners in the National Football League, a couple times, and they were bad. They were bad balls.
Yeah.
I'm just sorry. They were underthrown. They were thrown inside. He needs to drop in the bucket, throw on the outside shoulder, a la when he did in Denver with Elikai Manor with his one-hand catch.
Yeah.
Right? That ball wasn't right there.
Nope.
Davis Mills threw that ball. He did the exact same throw for his players. He did it. So those we're talking about consistent throws that he's got to make. Those are conventional throws by starters in the National Football League. You have to do it over and over again, and you never miss. You never miss. If your receiver can't get it, nobody gets it. And he threw this thing that should have got an interception. It was underthrown. Yeah. He jumped up and it just hit his hand. And so then it showed me a little bit about what I was thinking about Jefferson as a player. I said, I would sign that guy as though he's the end of it, because he's an insurance policy to whatever you do.
Still relatively young.
Right. Yeah. What is he, 5 years in the league?
Yeah.
So you're talking about a guy who's actually a hometown guy from Ravenwood. His dad played in the league too, so he has the genes. And you say, okay, you can sign him to a modest contract, $3-4 million a year. You can get that guy for a 3-year deal and lock him up. He has tools. He beat Stingley like 3 times. I'm like, he had him. And I don't know if he fell asleep, but he was out there.
Listen, let me say something about Van Jefferson.
I was like, hey, man, he's got another gear. We keep missing out.
Yeah.
This guy's got something.
Well, and didn't we say yesterday, too, like, in a world of unknowns with this team, Van is the guy who you know what you're going to get.
Yeah,
you know what you're going to get.
You know.
And I think it's a lot better than what people think.
Yeah.
And I really do, because I look at Van Jefferson. We've seen it now in a preseason game. I know everybody wanted to get mad over that one pass, but we've seen in the preseason game the next week, right? I've now seen him beat quality corners fairly easily with his route running. And I'm like, there is something there that is better to have on your team than not.
He's probably a 3 or most teams, maybe a 4, but you know what you're going to get, and he's going to be somewhat reliable, at least the way it looks with the young guys that's out there.
Kind of, you know where it reminds me? Kind of like he's a different wide receiver than a wide receiver I'm about to mention, but it's like the consistency you expected to get out of Robert Woods, even though it wasn't fantastic or anything, but you got a certain level of consistency. Right. Uh-huh. That's what it feels like you got in Van Jefferson.
Yeah. And I see him run down. I never thought he'd run down and try to make some tackles.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see that anywhere in his game. But he's out there trying. He's missing, but he's getting down and making the guy stutter his feet and move. So what give him credit, man.
What are your expectations for Cam Ward for the rest of the season? We got 7 games left, the longest NFL season it feels like of our life. We'll go to Michael and Chris on the phones coming up next. 615-737-1045. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 1045 The Zone.
Legendary coach Lou Holtz once said, before people spend money, they ask 3 questions. Can I trust you? Are you committed to excellence? And do you care about me? Hey, friends, it's Blaine Bishop for Eurofix. And Eurofix has built its business on answering those 3 questions with a bold yes. And back in 1999, owner Aaron Stokes was by himself with a 1-car garage in downtown Franklin. And a few months later, Aaron moved to a shop in a barn behind his house so he could stay close to his family while building his dream of offering the best service on European vehicles below dealer pricing. So fast forward to the day, and that barn's long gone, and Eurofix is thriving with 5 locations: Nashville, Franklin, Bellmead, Murfreesboro, Mount Juliet, with more to come. And all work performed comes with a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty, plus a rental car is available with every appointment. So go ahead, ask yourself, can you trust us? Do we care? And are we committed to excellence? And I think you'll say yes when you see how we treat you. So all you have to do is give them a call today or book online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com. But you also give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. Yes, that's right. 844-EUROFIX.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. Raffle Salad on YouTube says progress, not perfection, is what he expects from Cam Ward over the last 7 games. What do you expect from Cam Ward over the last 7 games?
Who said that?
Raffle Salad.
Okay.
You know, Raffle Mayo. Raffle Salad.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Michael in Nashville. Michael, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
How you doing?
Doing good.
We're doing great, man. How you doing?
Okay. Well, I have no expectation of Cam right now because this team is in a juggle box. He don't have a line, first off, to block for him. It starts from the top. Until you get the front office, the coach, and the quarterback straight, I don't know, because I don't know if he's going to be the quarterback of the future. Do we have a proven coach? Next year we might have a different coach. So how can you have an expectation of him? We don't know who the coach is going to be next year. The front office is a juggle. Our problem now is going to be the locker room, because players going to start looking at one another. When you start losing and losing and losing and losing, what it ends up? People start talking. Until we get the front office, the coach, and the quarterback, and the locker room straight, I don't have no expectation for him. Me, I never would have started him in the first place. I'd have put a veteran in front of him. Right now, I think he needs to sit next to the offensive coordinator and look at the game from a different perspective. We don't see what he can do. He's a home run hitter, and he's got spaghetti legs. In other words, he's so used to being hit so much and knocked down. What can we say about him? Have a nice day.
Now, before you go, did you say jungle box or juggle box?
Oh, he's gone.
He's already gone. I didn't understand what kind of box Cam Ward was in. I know he's got spaghetti legs, apparently.
Yeah, I got that part.
Well, he was talking in spaces.
Yeah.
And all that.
But we've kind of played around with the idea over the summer, talking about, man, if Will Levis was healthy, you'd maybe start Will Levis for those first 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, because we were playing elite defense and you're trying to set him up for failure.
Yeah.
That's it. Right. That's it. I mean, also you want to see maybe he could give you some kind of boost. If he didn't, then you have every bit of reason to put Cam Ward in there. But you also get to see them, how it looks. You want to see a veteran play it out first. And, I was talking about competition. We were talking about on the pregame, we all were. And I would have preferred some veteran-style quarterback beforehand, and like a Flacco or somebody who could show him how this game is actually played and that he could do it in a different form, in his own style. Yeah. And that's what you're really looking for. You could talk about all the X's and O's you want to and where you're supposed to throw the ball, but until you're actually in the moment, man, it's really much more difficult than it seems. So I just wish he would have had that, but unfortunately he didn't. They take one, you got to play him right now in this era. That's got to play him. And, I don't think he knows what it's supposed to look like. And to the caller's point, I wish that could have happened, but it didn't. Now you can't go back. You can't. Yeah. He's had enough success where you can't go back like that.
Does Cam Ward have spaghetti legs?
Yeah, I don't know what he meant. Like he because he's getting hit so much.
I don't know.
I don't think so. Whatever that reference is, I don't.
Do you know what spaghetti legs means?
I thought it means like he just wobbled, like he's got trouble walking or standing up.
I don't know. Old spaghetti legs. Old spaghetti legs, Cam Ward. I'm probably never going to not call him that.
I hope he just heard. I hope he heard that.
Like how many sacks he's given up. He's gotten.
I hope Cam heard that and he's hitting lower body.
I'm just going to call him old spaghetti legs. All right, coming up next, we'll go to Roger, Chris, and Charles, and your phone call 615-737-1045. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
And spaghetti legs.
Let's face it, buying a vehicle should be straightforward and stress-free, and that's exactly how Two Rivers Ford has been doing business for decades. This locally owned dealership has a non-commissioned sales team whose only focus is to find you the right vehicle at the right price without the pressure. So you'll actually have a fun car buying experience. Great prices, easy financing, and a non-commissioned sales team. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, and Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
One of the largest sports books east of the Mississippi, Circa Sports Kentucky, is now open. Catch all your favorite games on an 80-foot screen with stadium-style seating and live VSiN broadcast daily. Circa Sports, now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs.
My dad and I used to golf together all the time, but when he hurt his back, it was over.
To have your son want to spend time with you is amazing. That's why my chronic back pain has been so heartbreaking. Surgery, fused bones, long recovery. No way, not for me. A friend recommended stem cells, so I gave Kellum Stem Cell Institute a call.
I'm glad you're out on the course.
Yeah, it's really good.
Call the Kellum Stem Cell Institute today. Swing still looks just okay though.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. We're talking all things Cam Ward. What are your expectations for the next 7 games?
Is this true? 12 turnovers in 10 games for Cam?
That's what I'm actually double checking, because he also says he's top 5, and I'm like, well, I think that I know that Sam Darnold has a ton of interceptions, even though he's
didn't
efficient.
He just had 4 in the other game.
Geno's in there.
Yeah, so Geno's in there as well. So that's what I was looking for right now.
All right, well, we go to the calls till we figure it out.
Let's go to
Ross figures it out.
Yeah, let's go to Chris in California. Chris, you're on Blaine and Zach.
Guy.
Gentlemen, long-time listener. I've missed y'all. Love the show. How we doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Man,
I'm doing great, other than how the Titans are playing.
Yeah, me too.
But I will say I see a couple things that I like. They're moving Cam out of the pocket a little bit more on a couple plays, using a lot of short, quick passing. And Blaine, let me ask you, would you agree that, chemistry, anticipation is probably 2 of the most important things for the quick passing game?
Yes, of course.
So if that's the case, there's one guy we've got to call. Our season's tanked. Maybe we're not tanking. We're trying to get better, but we're out of it. You got to call Restrepo.
You caught me with the curveball on this one.
You got to call my boy Restrepo. Give him a shot. But seriously, before we write that guy off, Dallas Cowboys cut Wes Welker, man. And then he went to the Patriots and did what he did.
Very true.
He ain't the biggest, he ain't the strongest, he ain't the fastest, but put that dude in the slot, let him go to work. I want to see what he's got. I'd love to hear your take on it. Y'all do a great show. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah. Woo, that guy's excited about some Xavier Restrepo.
He was long-winded. He threw one of those long curveballs there and got to Restrepo.
It was.
I think, well, now they have some injuries. I don't know where they're at with who they're going to pull up. Probably Prochet first. But I think we should expect that we see, regardless of injuries or not, Restrepo in the lineup maybe the last 4 games. Yeah, I think so. They have to see what they have in them in a live game. I think it's only fair that they get to see it, especially in the position they are, because if not, they may move forward or somebody may, pick him up off the practice squad. Maybe they're trying to protect him because if he does do well, then now all of a sudden
you got to put him on the 53.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, if Hal Presley gets, who is a wide receiver on the practice squad currently, gets promoted over Xavier Restrepo, I think the Xavier Restrepo dream needs to die.
Whoa. Wait a minute. Isn't he the outside guy?
I think he is an outside guy.
The guy they just picked up like 2 or 3 weeks ago or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought he's a tall guy, right?
Yeah, I believe he is tall, like 6'2", 6'3".
So
yeah.
But I get numbers. Right. It is wide receiver, but I think Restrepo's only going to be a slot. I think Restrepo probably needs to, this is going to sound crazy, just slim down, maybe not so much in the weight room and more on the track. To be a serviceable player like Wes Welker. Yes, I think he could be with maybe, I don't know how much he weighs, but he needs to get, how much, is he like 205? What is he?
I'll have to check.
I don't know, but he's got to get down. He's got to lean out and be quicker because that's what his game is going to be built on. It's not running by people, but making people miss. And you got to accentuate those assets that you have that make you a really good player. So maybe he'll, do that in the offseason. I think he'll have a great shot.
See him 5'10", 202?
Yeah, he's got to get 190. I said this in training camp. Like that because he's not quite in the league. He's not quite as quick compared to college. So, yeah, he needs that.
All right, I got our turnover situation here. So he is 17th in interceptions. He has the 17th most. He's tied for 17th most with interceptions with Cam Ward, or Cam Ward is, with 6 interceptions. But because of his fumbles, his 8 fumbles, he is tied for 5th with Geno Smith.
Duh.
So he is in the top 5. Tua has 19, 13 interceptions, 6 fumbles. Sam Darnold has 10 interceptions, 5 fumbles for 15. Daniel Jones has 7 interceptions, 8 fumbles for 15. Geno Smith has 13 interceptions, 1 fumble for 14. And Cam Ward has 6 interceptions, 8 fumbles for 14.
So why is nobody talking about Daniel Jones 8 fumbles too?
Because they're winning games.
They're winning. Yeah, no
They're
doubt.
winning games.
What about how much yardage does he have? And his completion percentage, because we were talking about that too.
I'll have to go back and check that because I just got the interception stuff loaded
Someone's
up.
saying he's like 64.
Over the last 4 weeks. We'll check the last 4 weeks over here in just a second. Let's go to Charles in Nashville. Charles, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
No problem.
Couple things. Cam, it's been said, it's just consistency as far as I'm concerned.
Mhm.
Goes from his throwing motion to making a decision whether to run or not. And that's just going to come with time, I guess, and just hope that he makes the right decisions going forward. It's just going to take time. Another thing, Chig, is he a tight end? I know he plays
Yes,
tight
he
end.
is.
Can he be a wide receiver?
Probably not, but I think he's the tight end that you split out and use as a receiving tight end.
Okay. He looks fast to me.
He is. He is really fast. He's shown that through the last 3 or 4 years. Every year he does one catch, you get wowed by his speed. You just like, wow, I can't believe that.
So there's no way they can just put him out as a wide receiver then, I guess. He just doesn't fit that mold.
Well, they might in the next couple weeks.
Well, see, it may force them to use 2 tight end sets, and they'll split them out and use him as a tight end. This flex out like a receiver, kind of like the Jimmy Grahams or, all those guys that are kind of more receiver than tight end.
Okay. Last question. Can you compare and contrast Levis with Cam?
Ooh, that'd be a good Zach one there.
Well, will say this. If you're talking about the first rookie year, because I think that's a more comparable way to really do it.
How much did
rookie
Levis play rookie year?
5 or 6 games his
Was it
rookie
that
year.
many? Oh, I thought it was only like 4, but I don't know.
I thought it was more than that, right?
I think 6 sounds about right because he did get injured at the end, and Tannehill played the last.
He actually started 9 games his rookie year.
Did he?
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He started 9 games his rookie year. A 58.4% completion percentage. I do not have Cam Ward's stats up. If maybe our producer could look up Cam Ward's stats, we can compare them side by side.
But that was so that rookie year was when he played against the Falcons, or that was his second year?
So 4 of his touchdowns
was in that.
He had
one
8
game.
touchdowns. 4 of those touchdowns were in that one game.
And that was his first
what'd you
start
say?
too, by the way. Wasn't it?
So this is the first 9 games.
So what'd you say his completion percentage was?
58.4.
Cam's is 58.4.
Wow. 1,800 yards, 1,808. But
what's his average per game?
His average per game is 200.9. I'm sure Cam's is underneath that.
Cam's is 195, I think, if my math is right. Doesn't show.
It should. If you're on the Pro Football Reference, it has a column down the right.
Well, he's thrown 1954 in 10 games, so 195.
Okay, so 1954. So he's that'd be probably pretty close. 8 touchdowns.
Cam has 6 right now.
4 interceptions for Will Levis, which we know 6 interceptions for Cam Ward.
How many times was Levis sacked?
Levis was sacked 28 times.
Cam's been sacked 41 times.
It's a little bit give and take all the way through there, and one of those guys had the least Derrick Henry on their team.
Worst line, though, I would say.
Probably. I would probably agree with that.
I think
worst line on paper, right? But this has been a worse line. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's the worst line on paper. Like, if you were going position by position, say, would you rather have Andre Dillard or Dennis Daly? Or, sorry, Dan Moore. That's a Freudian slip.
It's no question.
Yeah, but who's performing better? You get what I'm saying?
I would say Dan Moore.
Dan Moore's been better than Andre Dillard.
But then you go down the line, this offensive line is definitely not performing as well as that offensive line was in terms of sacks.
Right. Well, that's true.
But I also think Levis was better earlier at standing in the pocket and making throws down. I'm not saying it was always a great result, but getting rid of the football.
Football, right.
Yeah.
And Cam holds on to the football, so that
part probably bleeds into it as well.
So I would say it's kind of an even standstill here, statistically.
It will be interesting to see.
By the way, before people flip out, that is not us advocating that. Like,
no, it is Blaine saying Will Levis is better.
I did not say that. But we have to say that
it is statistically, it looks very comparable.
Yeah, no doubt about it. There is no one is better, obviously, than the
there's
other.
obviously a lot of context in both situations, but right now you would say that the stats look very similar.
So if you're Will Levis, what are you doing right now? What are you saying?
He's probably like playing video games, rehabbing.
No, I'm talking about what he sees out of the team and out of the
He's
quarterback.
probably laughing a little bit. He's probably like, yeah.
He's probably texted Cam a couple times like, see, it ain't all roses.
Yeah.
You were probably seeing those memes of me while you were in Miami last year and you didn't know what you were getting into.
Yeah, they are two different style quarterbacks.
Yeah. Totally two different styles, two different offensive schemes, two different things. Well, all we're saying is that statistically, because the caller called in and asked, statistically, very similar so far. Now, what does Cam do in year 2?
That's a little surprising, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's hearing that.
I would have actually thought that Will Levis would have had better stats by a mile. Because of how those first 9 games looked from a statistical perspective.
Look at attempts.
Yeah.
Pass attempts.
Do you still have it up?
I feel like Cam is throwing
Cam's
the ball.
throwing for way more.
That's why I thought he would have better yards.
255.
332 right now.
Yeah, 332, 255.
So to me, I thought that meant the yards be up because I feel like they throw the ball way more than they did with Will Levis because they had Derrick Henry. As you mentioned.
I think Levis has 2 starts in his rookie year that have been better than any game we've seen from Cam this year. Obviously, the Falcons game. But I also think when they played the Steelers the week after, I thought that was better than any game we've seen from Cam this year. He looked good. I know they lost, but he looked good.
Yeah, he tried to go down the middle at the end, try to get
you just had to force one. But
All right. If you guys want to write Blaine Bishop any kind of letters or call in for saying that Will Levis is better than Cam Ward, feel free.
That was Ross. We are not advocating. He did say that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go.
Some thoughts.
Yeah. Let's go to Roger in Nashville. Roger, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
This is Roger McCreary.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Hey, you're good.
I was doing good till I saw a Buck Rising commercial on your show, and kind of disrespectful for you guys, but hey, I believe old Cam's going to do. He's coming along.
Yeah.
The only thing he worked on his short game there last game and stuff. I thought he did good, but the batted balls it seems to be a problem with him lately. He's getting a lot of batted balls, and whoever's calling screen passes got to quit it for this team. They just don't work until we get foundation. But it's crazy.
Oh, man, you don't like the screen pass to Tajay Spears?
Everybody's all over us. We can't run it, so what's the screen pass? But I got one question for you, too, and I'm going to hang up and listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since he lost weight and got good physical condition, why not put Big Jeff out on the edge rusher and see how he does?
Well, that's how he got the sack at the end of the game. He was at end.
He was lined up out there.
I think, you got Sebastian Day for the stuff. Try old Big Jeff on the edge rusher, and it might surprise you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's hang up and let's see, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, Roger.
It's all Buck Rising's
kind of
fault.
been doing there.
Yeah. So anyway, he's been lining up more at edge this year. Now he's not lining up full time at edge because he needs to be on his best position is really on the defensive line, causing havoc to get interior pressure. You want that interior pressure, but he has been very effective when lined up on the edge. Just doesn't mean that he needs to be there full time.
Yeah, I would have concurred with that. Yeah, in past situations, he's got to be outside, try to do the best you can with the guys you got, and. Yeah, he leaned. He had the motorcycle lean and all of that, and ripped the hands and threw both. Man, I was thoroughly impressed with the pass rush move there.
I am also all for getting rid of all screen passes out of the playbook.
Gosh, that play fake to Tajay into a screen into the flat, that was one of the ugliest things I've ever seen.
Was it uglier than the first Wildcat play of the Chargers game? Because that
one
was
of the
pretty
ugliest pass plays I've ever seen.
Let's go to Steve in Spring Hill real quick. Steve, you're on Blaine and Zach.
They look good at practice.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
All right. I was actually, y'all talking about Levis and all this, but the caller, I was kind of curious what I was calling about. It seems like, is Levis still on the contract for next year?
He is.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So next year we might have maybe a quarterback carousel, maybe?
What do you mean?
Well, if one guy's not performing, the other guy should step up.
You mean like a competition?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I would put it this way, Steve, is like you should always play your best player. If Will Levis earns the job or is clearly better than Cam Ward, I don't know what the technical politics would be on that. But if he's clearly better than Cam Ward, I feel like you clearly have to start the guy that's better. But I know that there's the first overall pick and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect that to happen. But I would say that if Cam Ward is clearly worse than Will Levis in the offseason, in this new offense and all that kind of stuff, and we see it in preseason, we see it in similar situations, I mean, you would have to really entertain the idea of starting Will Levis. I just don't think I don't feel it in my bones.
No, I would actually agree with that. Because it's a new system, now all bets are off as far as who's the better player in this system. Now, naturally, you're going to say that, Cam Ward has the edge because he's the number one pick. There's a lot invested in him.
Yeah.
So he has to be the edge. But I think you have to go into the offseason that this is an open competition, but in reality, it's not. Whether it's Will Levis or whoever it is.
It may not be Will Levis.
It could be a veteran quarterback.
Could be Marcus coming back for
Flacco guy or Marcus. And, any guy of that ilk where they can start some games and be productive in this league. You've seen them do it. You've seen them win games. And that's the kind of competition I really wanted for them. Having two young guys kind of wasn't what I would want. I would have signed a veteran player who could have started those first 3 or 4 games, especially when they had opportunities to sign a guy like that.
Yeah.
Not Brandon Allen.
Yeah, definitely not Brandon Allen.
So, so that's what I would have done. So he could have seen it. So that's different than talking about now. Guess what? He hadn't seen an example of how to actually play the quarterback position on the Tennessee Titans in this offense.
Yeah.
He is all he's seen. So sometimes seeing it and standing on the sideline, seeing that is a little different. And then saying, you know what, I need to, there's some things I see standing on this sideline that I don't see when I'm playing. And I get what they're sitting in, the coaches are saying. I get what the veteran quarterback is telling me. And then you go out there and I think you're a better, more productive quarterback. So there's a reason why that's happened before. And now it's just kind of changed and everybody wants to throw the guy out there immediately. In this situation, based off who they signed, it was the right thing to do. So,
it was. All right, coming up next, we'll talk to Coach Mack for our weekly Mac Tech, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford. This is South's most trusted Ford dealer. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. It's Tuesday. You know what that means. Time for our weekly Mac Attack with Coach Mac, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. And Coach Mac, it was a close one, but close only counts in hand shoes and horse grenades, as they say. So let me ask you this. What did you think of Cam Ward's performance throughout the whole game? It seemed like with the emphasis heading into the bye and coming out of the bye was to take what was in front of you and to take what the defense gives you. It seems like more often than not he did that, but what was your assessment of Cam Ward?
Well, first of all, that's how you have to play that defense. You can't stand back there and hold that ball, whether you're Cam Ward or you're any quarterback in this league, because they're just too good at pressure. They didn't run the football well enough. They still put themselves in some third down situations that lean to the defenses to help. The thing that I thought, I mean, he took the throws that was there. He made some really good throws, but he was making quick throws. He was inaccurate on a couple of those 7 routes or sail routes, that he threw where he had people wide open. So I think that, it needs to continue to work on his accuracy in all of those instances. And the other thing is the fact that the thing that's important, with a quarterback that's learning, you have to learn to have patience throughout the entire ball game, because that's what it takes when you're playing quarterback. Playing quarterback in this league is about doing about 80 to 90% of the things that are just, what you say, routine and mundane, and then hitting the big ones when they're there. He's still learning. He's going to be learning this whole year. So I thought it was, a good job and a good plan that they had against that rush group, because that's the best that they've played against that defense, for a good stretch of time. But there's still points in the ball game as to when you've got a chance to hit some of those that they had open, especially those sail routes, those 7 routes, you got to hit them.
With all the injuries that happened in the game on the offense, how difficult is that for the head coach and the coaching staff to kind of game plan around guys who may have not ran some of these plays before? Because they talked about, successful play for Chig on that touchdown drive towards the end. They said it's something that he hasn't really ran before. And they said the miss to Mason Kinsey on the sail route was, a one that Mason Kinsey, first time they've worked on that one together in game. Like, how difficult is that to go through your playbook and find the plays that your players can run while not changing too much of the game plan?
Well, missing your top players, hurts you no matter what. But at the end of the day, you got to perform at the moment. That's just basically what it is. It's up to, if you're talking about throwing the football, it's up to the quarterback to put it on the receivers, whether they've run the route or not, and it's up to the receivers, to catch it. So, to me, those are things that, as far as to where they may have some truth to it, they don't hold any water as far as the reason not to be successful.
What did you see from the Texans run defense in that game that made it just so difficult for Tyjae Spears and Tony Pollard to find any room in between the tackles and in the guards in the run game?
Well, Matt Burke, is our defensive coordinator, and of course, Matt was with us, was with me in the linebacker room for a lot of years. He's really smart, but the one thing that he grew up in this business, especially in the National Football League, here with Jim Schwartz, with myself, with Jeff Fisher, understanding the extreme importance of gap control on run defense. And they've always done a good job of that. D'Amico Ryans is really good at it too. That's how he got a head job. He's very detail oriented, but it takes discipline to play good run defense with gap control consistently for 55 or 60 snaps, or however many times you're in there, and then with those snaps, being able to control your gaps on a consistent basis. They've been doing that all year. So, you have to continue to try to pound at that thing, and the Titans were not very successful at it.
We're talking all things Tennessee Titans with Coach Mac for his weekly Mac Attack, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Well, Coach, you alluded to that you like the game plan offensive with the quick passing game because of the Texans' defense. But did you think this was the best Tennessee Titans, looked in whole totality as a team in this game, how they played? Because I thought it was one of their better performances, if not the best.
I agree with you. I agree with you, especially against a quality opponent. I mean, they took this team right down to the wire. Had a chance to win it, but it's just like this. There's moments in games that can flip a ball game, especially when it's contested that tightly. And those moments, you've got to make the plays. The Texans made those plays in that moment, and the moment is the drive that they needed, at the end of the ball game, and then the certain plays. I mean, like the 3rd and 16 play, that should go your way defensively. Mm-hmm. And I know where they were playing. I mean, they were playing a cover 2, but if you're playing cover 2 in that instance, I mean, you've got to do it by down and distance and by what's happening in the game. The corner should have sucked about 5 yards deeper. Make that throw be thrown in up in front of you. Rally up to it. Make them punt it, and then you've got a chance. So all of those details, you can't ever overlook a detail, no matter where it is in the ball game. And the tighter the ball game is, the more important the details become.
I don't know if the season how much Cam has had batted balls, but at least in this game it seemed to be some batted balls. Is that a concern from a coach if you've seen it in a couple games, or you just kind of say, hey, more power to them. They did a good job on that play.
No, I mean, that's what I guarantee you, I know what Matt Burke teaches which, every defense I've ever been in charge of, you run drills where you learn to match hands. And if people are throwing the ball quick, that's one thing, you've heard it said in meeting rooms you've been in. If you're not a pass rusher, be a pass defender. And for big dudes up front, that's learning how to match hands, and you practice matching hands. So, I mean, that's just part of playing against a sophisticated defense in the NFL.
Naturally, I'm not in the meetings, and neither are you, but
Nope.
They change cadence, it seems like, and I don't know if it's just in certain situations or going into this game, maybe it's 3rd down situation to slow down their pass rush. Have you ever gone into a game as a coach and changed your cadence against elite pass rushing teams?
Absolutely. Absolutely, you have. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about changing cadence. If you're in the offensive huddle, you know what it's on, right? Mm-hmm. You know what it's on. And the reason you change cadence is to try to throw the defense off. All right? So don't you've got to lock in.
So when you change cadence, I don't mean to cut you off, but do you mean not like you go on 2 or 3, but you elongate the call, blue 33, it says that blue 33. So kind of give an example of how you're changing cadence, because that can change players' timing.
Yeah, well, but you practice it all week. You practice it all week, and that's why I say you've got to lock in. I mean, that is, to me, that's the mental part. That's the mental part of the game. You've got to lock in. That's why you have game plans all during the week. You know as well as I do, you change game plans weekly, depending on who your opponent is. That's all part, again, as I say, of the different levels of sophistication that you have, and especially when you're playing a team for the second time.
No doubt. Now let's get into Seattle a little bit here. I see they're a really good road team, especially their defense. They've been playing really well. Kind of give us the secret sauce. Have you ever coached a team that was really good on the road, especially their defense, and they kind of carried the way for you when you were coaching?
Well, you lived through this as a player. When you've got a great defense, what do they always say, especially as the season progresses? Defense travels. Mm-hmm. Defense travels, because there are things that you can do defensively that you are able to control completely. And they're a really good defense, but offensively they're the number 6 offense in the league too. They just got a good football team. I mean, they're just a good football team. But to your defensive point and your defensive question, I've been a part of good defenses in this league. You've been a part of good defenses in this league, and you know that the one of the mantras of that is not only good defenses travel no matter what the weather and no matter where you're playing, and that's important, especially in the second half of the season.
There you have it, Coach Mack giving us the Mack attack.
Coach, the Tennessee Titans have put a lot of emphasis on being better on 3rd downs, but I wanted to ask from a defensive perspective, what is the more important down? Is it 1st down or third down? Because is it first down for a defense to put yourself in advantageous situations on second and third where you're in obvious passing situations? Because it feels like first down is where you kind of want to gain that 4 or 5 yards, and the defense wants to make sure you don't gain any yards.
Yeah, well, defensively, I'm just talking about all the years I called defenses in this league and set up defenses. You know, when I was game planning, when I was looking at what the opponent did, do everything that you can to get a real good, because first and second down, if the chains are even, then defensively you've got to play the run and pass 50-50, unless you're getting really good bird rabbit tips as to where you've got a real shot at being able to play one over the other. So what you need to do is be able to at least, I always said, you want first down, you want to be able to hold them to 4 yards or less on first down. That's extremely important. And then anywhere from second to medium, what you're trying to do, put them in at least 3rd and 7+. At least try to do that, because then you feel like it kind of tips your way, because more than likely, unless they are a really good screen or a really good lag draw team, that they're going to be spinning the football and throwing it. So you've got a game plan each down and distance. When you start looking at what people run, what they run out of personnel groups, how your personnel matchups go. But yes, and on the opposite side of it, if you ever get anybody to 3rd and 8+, defensively, you should win the majority percentage-wise of those snaps.
Do you think the way that offenses are trending, where they do like 3 wide receiver sets, but they run out of them, then do 2 tight end pass sets, but they do a lot of pass plays out of them? Do you think it's becoming more important to match down and distance tendencies from a defensive perspective with these offenses rather than match with the personnel?
No, you got to match personnel. You've got to match personnel, because when you're studying, I mean, you can ask Blaine this, when you're off air. When you're studying an opponent during the week, I mean, when he was a safety, he broke down. He broke down tight ends. He broke down running backs. He broke down offensive linemen stances, those types of things. You've got to work game to game to game on tendencies, but you've got to be able to match personnel, because they can completely put a personnel group in there that does just the opposite of what the personnel group may indicate. So that's where the film study part of it comes in. But if you're not personnel matched up to begin with, then you're putting yourself on your left foot continuously.
I've seen that the Seattle Seahawks are a league worst on 3rd and long, 3rd and 7+ yards. They're 7 for 57 on converting those downs. What can the Tennessee Titans defense do to kind of put Sam Darnold, who has been turnover prone, but super efficient, especially when targeting Jackson Smith and Jigba, to keep this team, in these 3rd and long situations? What are some things that you would be emphasizing this week for this Tennessee Titans defense?
Well, you got to take Jigba away, first of all. I mean, that's their duty.
Easier said than done, I think, this year. It feels like.
But I mean, that's what you go into it thinking. That's what you got to concentrate on, and you got to concentrate on their run game. They've got a really good run game, and look. Sam Darnold, think about last week. He had 4 interceptions, and they're still have a chance to win the ball game of the last series. Okay, so they've got a good enough team surrounding him that sometimes they can play above those turnovers that he made. He made 4 interceptions last week, and then instead of being blown out, they're still right in it. They've got a very complete football team, and that, to me, those are the most dangerous teams to play, that are complete football teams.
Well, Coach, you talked about their defense, Seattle Seahawks. What is their scheme, and what do you think gives other teams problems, week in, week out?
Well, they're a 3-4 team that can give you multiple looks, in multiple fronts. Their linebackers are very, very active, and plus, their head coach, he was a really, really accomplished defensive coordinator at the Ravens. Yeah. The way he got a head job is the way most of us that were defensive coaches got head jobs. We play good defense, and so they have a good multiple scheme out of the 3-4 that it gives you issues, because they've got guys that can do different things out of different looks, and those are always the kind that give you problems.
There you have it. Coach Mack for his weekly Mac Attack, brought to you by Tours Ford, South's most trusted Ford dealer. Coach Mack, have a good rest of the week.
Guys, appreciate you. See ya.
See ya.
Appreciate it, Coach.
When we come back, we'll talk about some J.C. Latham. We haven't gotten around to talk to him yet. We'll talk about that coming up next as Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Naturally, the holidays are right around the corner. And we want you to enjoy the holidays, but not too much because you may put on some of that holiday weight. And the approach to weight loss at Edge Peptide Therapy and Hormone Therapy is a little bit different. We make sure all your patients have extensive lab work and face-to-face conversation in office with our nurse practitioners to create customized treatment plans tailored to your specific needs. And they use only the U.S.-based FDA-audited compounding pharmacies because knowing where your peptides come from always matters. You also can enjoy access to their in-body scanner and track your weight loss and make sure you're maintaining your muscle mass. And, of course, lower your A1C, keeping your cravings in check, prioritizing protein, and having someone guide your journey from start to finish. And all you have to do is call the team at Edge Peptide for all of your wellness questions at 615-724-1878. That's 724-1878 or edgepeptide.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. So the big talk has been J.C. Latham. He had 4 penalties, 3 false starts. Now, he wasn't the only one to have false starts, but he had 3 of them, which is a big deal. And we heard Coach Mack recently just talk about, elongating the cadence, changing the hard counts and all that stuff. He says you just got to lock in. Cam Ward said the same thing. Now, we've heard J.C. Latham's comments, I'm sure, by now, but let's play J.C. Latham's comments post-game again, where he's asked about the false starts, where he's at on the whole situation, because I think this is a learning moment for J.C. Latham in the media. Let's see if he learns from it, but it's like he takes accountability, then he kind of doesn't take accountability. Like he tries to explain it away, and it just doesn't come off very well. Here's what J.C. Latham had to say.
What was behind the mental?
Ain't nothing. We caught the cadence. We wanted to mix up the cadence to change the procedure. I executed that poorly on 2 occasions.
So each of those 3 times there was a change in the cadence?
This is the cadence. Like you kind of bury the cadence in general. So it's like I'm not saying I don't remember vividly what each cadence was, but I'm saying like we want to execute the cadence.
Did you feel like you had to be a little bit jumpier going against the rushers you were going against?
There are premier rushers, but you want to get off the ball, so I wouldn't say you want to jump it. So.
How much you feel like you hurt the team with the 4 penalties overall?
I don't know the stats on it, but I know we converted one of them. I know we scored on the other drive. I don't remember the second one per se. I think we got a field goal out of it, but I could be wrong. At the end of the day, though, it's not about how I feel. I think you just want to play penalty free. Penalties hurt the team, kill drives, drive kills.
So he just said, he just wanted you got to play penalty free, but he kind of threw a little bit of excuses in there, or reasons, I guess would be a better word. And he was right on the penalties. The first 2 false starts came on the opening drive where they got a field goal. Second one was a holding penalty on a drive where the Tyjae Spears slipped on that 3rd down when he was 1-on-1 in the flats, and then he got. They went 6 yards after each of that holding penalty, and then the last false start was on the touchdown drive. What did you think about his comments from a player leadership perspective? What were your thoughts on his comments?
I don't know. I didn't. Maybe I missed it. I didn't hear the excuse part. Okay. Maybe because it was low. I couldn't really hear it. Did you?
He talked about the.
He said you got to bury the cadence regardless. So he was.
Right. He said I have
he was
to.
Saying I got to.
Because that's what I was saying. It sounds
penalties
like
hurt the team or kill drivers. He said this last. So to me, he finished it. He didn't. I don't feel like he made excuse. He just said we gotta, learn. Yeah. I got to be better at the cadence. Now maybe he waffled a little bit there in the middle. I didn't hear just an outright excuse.
Okay.
Did you? I might have missed it. Did you?
I didn't feel that way, but a lot of people do. So I want to leave that open. I didn't feel that way. I mean, it felt like a little waffly, but he kind of. I just feel like maybe less is more sometimes when it comes to these players.
Probably. But they kept asking this. Teron did a good job. That was his voice, I think.
Teron, PK, Suss. I think a bunch of people were in on that one.
They kept prodding a little bit. Even though he even knew that those penalties didn't actually
do
hurt
anything.
The drive. Right, they didn't hurt the drive. So he had even thought about it.
Because they're in the moment. Them out. In the moment, I had to tell fans in the moment that guys, these didn't really hurt the team.
They overcame them. Yeah,
they overcame them.
It was definitely frustrating.
I'm sorry, just clapped in the microphone, but I wanted to ask Coach Mack that question about what did you think about, obviously they had a lot of boneheaded penalties, but more often than not, they've been able to overcome them when in the past they haven't.
Dude, if you were
sorry, just clapping in the microphone though.
If you were reading Twitter during the game, you would have thought JC gave up 5 sacks. I mean, people were outraged.
And that's what you can control.
You're right.
And those are unacceptable, especially at many as time it was. And I would have believed that, man, I would have been jumpy like that if the guy was kind of dominating. But to Ross's point, there was none of that throughout the game. So he was jumpy even, and I think it was just because of the cadence. Now, Coach Mack, I think cadence is least in my era, and I'm an old head, so let's bear with me now, guys, is they would change cadence on a 4th down or 3rd and short to try to get them to jump. but you're not changing your cadence, your main cadence in a game. That can throw your own team off. Like, I don't know if I agree. They changed their cadence is basically what he's telling us for this game because of their pass rush.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's just specifically on third downs. When did some of those penalties happen?
I mean,
I don't know.
Some of them were first down, some of them were second downs.
Means they changed the cadence. And then even Cam messed up because and everybody moved. So he was part of it too because he wasn't used to doing that cadence either.
And I'd give it a caveat, like it messes up the O-line. It shouldn't mess up the perimeter because you're watching the ball.
The perimeter guys, did they mess up? I don't remember them.
I think Gunner moved, but it was the one play where everybody moved.
Everybody moved. They showed the replay, and you could see down the line, everybody moved. So I'm not a big proponent on coaches changing their cadence because, the other team's pass rush is really good.
A first down, a second down, and 3 third downs.
To me, that's inexperience as a coach. I'm sorry. Yeah. You can mess up your own dudes, and obviously it just messed up, Latham a little bit more than everybody. But everybody was kind of screwed there. I mean, multiple times. I don't agree with that.
There was
philosophy.
A first down, a second down, and 3 third downs. And the 3 third downs were Cushenberry, Latham, and Helm, if I'm not mistaken. So
he changed his inflection, how long he was doing the cadence. I mean,
And then you take the clock down to the last second. And it's not to excuse, the penalties.
Where experienced coaches would have had this conversation. I'm going to say this, and I'm not even in the locker room. They go down in the O-line room and say, hey, how y'all like us changing the cadence after a practice? You say, how did you feel? Did you feel comfortable? We're going to change it because of their pass rush. What do you think? And some guys are going to be like, I didn't like it. Some guys are going to be like, I had no problem with it. And then you say, well, we're going to try it one more day, and we want to make sure everybody's on the same accord. That's what good coaches do. Because guess what? Ultimately, the players are the one out there playing, and you need to ask them. All young players besides Cushenberry, right?
Right.
Well, Zeitler. But,
yeah.
I mean,
I get what you're saying.
So to me, that should have been a conversation amongst the group, even walking down the hall, coming out of meetings by the OC or whoever made that decision to do that.
I mean, after the first 2 times that it happened, because it went J.C. Latham and Lloyd Cushenberry back to back.
I
was just sitting there going,
I was living. I got up and went to the bar. I couldn't believe this.
Stoney could probably tell you how my face was. There's that time I was up and jumping up and down, cussing. Just hike the ball. Just hike the ball. And there was a lot more cussing than that.
And I knew something was up because I said, this is ridiculous.
And it goes back to what we saw with the Wildcats. Again, we haven't seen Wildcats all year. Then all of a sudden, we go up against the Chargers.
Yourself.
Right. And I'm not trying to absolve J.C. Latham.
No,
J.C. Latham's got to.
And I'm with Coach Mack. Regardless, lock in.
Lock in.
But that you're not.
Don't make things harder
for them. Yeah.
You're increasing risk.
And they thought, to me, that's inexperienced coaching. They thought they were helping them.
Yeah. No. And because it's an outlier, right? J.C. Latham is not this guy. He's not a penalty-prone guy. He had 4 penalties. That's a huge outlier for J.C. Latham.
When he's not doing anything that offensive tackles don't do, he's trying to jump the cadence and time it up right so he can get a good jump off the... what do you think every edge rusher's doing?
Right.
They're trying to jump.
I mean, how many times have over the last few years with the advent of Twitter, you just see all these people saying, well, that guy's offsides. No, he just timed the cadence perfectly, and that's what J.C. Latham was trying to do to gain himself an advantage like every good tackle in the league tries to do.
So when
you
start mixing that stuff up, it's hard to get that beat on it like you normally do.
Right. And that's where you just wrecked your own guys. I firmly believe that. I don't. When I heard that, they changed cadence? Like, it even messed up the freaking quarterback.
Yeah.
And he's the one calling the signal.
And you had 3 pass catchers on the Gunnar Helm one, and to be honest, J.C. Latham is not the only one that jumped off sides. J.C. Latham is also, that false started. He's just the one that got the number called on him because there were other false starts on these plays too.
They did.
But the Gunnar Helm one's a perfect example because Gunnar Helm and everybody 2 wide receivers all moved, including some offensive linemen.
Watch this. Athletes are creatures of habit. You just change their habits because you fear their pass rush.
And just real quick, and we'll dive more into J.C. Latham later.
Maybe on 4th down and short or something, but no.
J.C. Latham also watched every Danico Autry defensive snap, not just against J.C. Latham, but, I was looking at J.C. Latham. And I just wanted to say that there wasn't a lot of help given to J.C. Latham on a lot of those pass plays that I saw today. I think I saw 21 of the 45 pass plays. Not a lot of help. He had 2 running backs come in and chip for him before they went out on the thing. That was about it. And that doesn't mean that the other 24, there's not that, but we'll pick that up tomorrow.
Okay.
Pick that up tomorrow. All right. That will do it for us. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. 3HL's out in Madison at Twin Peaks to go visit them.
That neck of the woods.
Other than that, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm just blanking. I'm having a brain fart.
You're right.
In the meantime.
And in between time.
Peace.
I think I had a stroke.